There's some cool biology being done in regards to high intensity interval training and how it relates to the aging process. So let's take a look at it. So what is high intensity interval training? Let's look at one of my workouts from today. So down here at the bottom, you could see that I was holding a steady heart rate for my warm up, and it was in the low heart rate range, meaning about 100 to 120 beats per minute. And then after about 10 minutes, I started doing interval training, which means I did part of my workout at a high intensity, around 80% of my max heart rate. And then I would spend some time in a rest period where I'd let my heart rate come back down into the lower heart rate range before starting my next working set. So over here, this is an example where I did 4 intervals of 4 minutes in length. On top of being great for your nervous system and your cardiovascular system, there's actually really cool studies being done that are actually looking at its effect on the immune system and how that can impact our aging. So this paper was published in 2023. It's called The Senolytic Effect of High Intensity Interval Exercise on Human Skeletal Muscle. When you hear the word senolytic, think about senile. So it looked at the status of some of our immune cells, which are responsible for protecting us from bacteria and viruses, but it's also really important for the healing response. A problem is when we age, our immune system gets older too, and it starts to form these senile immune cells called immune senescent cells. And these senile immune cells tend to be less effective, and they cause excessive inflammation, which can promote things like tumor growth, but it could also promote things like sarcopenia, which is one of the hallmarks of aging. So this paper compared people that did moderate intensity training at a steady state compared to people that did high intensity interval training, and they looked at the markers of the senescent cells. And what they found was at baseline, both groups were pretty equal. After completing training, the steady state group had a lot more senescent cells inside of their muscle, whereas the high intensity interval group dropped off a cliff. And even 24 hours later, as the steady state group started to decrease a little bit, the high intensity group decreased even more, which is pretty remarkable. But this isn't just a muscle-specific effect. There's been other studies that have actually looked at how this affects things systemically, including the colon mucosa in older adults, where high-intensity interval training can actually reduce markers of senescence in the colon. That same research group came back this year and reproduced another study that looked at how interval training may be affected by anti-inflammatories. After doing high-intensity exercise, they gave one group Advil and one group a placebo. And when they gave the group an Advil, it actually blunted the anti-aging effect of the high-intensity interval training. And this is fairly consistent with other studies that looked at the effect of vitamins and supplements blunting the effects of exercise in well-trained people too. So while everyone's crazy about zone 2, remember that you have to work hard every once in a while. And that a little bit of inflammation is actually quite good for us because in the long term, it has a net anti-inflammatory effect that helps us age with grace.